Sit!
Welcome to the Dynasty Nerds Fantasy Football Podcast, where we discuss dynasty strategy, rankings, and all things NFL. So get ready to geek out on fantasy football with your host, Rich Dotson.
And welcome to the Dynasty Nerds Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm Rich Dotson. He's Matt O'Hara.
Hey.
Garrett Price.
How's it going?
These remote shows always get me on delay because it's always
the slight delay.
Slight delay on you guys chiming in. But, you know, it's a busy weekend. Travel baseball has started today, so we are doing remote. It's a busy week. We got a lot going on. We're going out of town on Thursday. It's NFL draft week. We've made it.
Oh, yeah.
Woo. By the time everybody's listening to this show, it's going to be the day before the draft. Are we putting both these shows out back to back, Garrett? Just both out on Wednesday?
Pretty much. I'm going to put out this one Wednesday morning, and then I'll put the other one out. I'll give it a little bit of time and do it like Wednesday afternoon, early evening.
Yeah, so let's dive right, get these both out here. And, you know, the show's title says it all, right? So we're all done. We watched all the tape. We gave you our opinion on the players, on the prospects from a tape standpoint. So now it's kind of time to rank them. We put our rankings out there. The rankings are on Dynasty Nerds, on the Dynasty Nerds GM app, on dynastynerds.com. You can see our rookie rankings there. But the best way we like to rank them is to mock draft them, right? Like actually have a chance to go ahead and grab these guys. So, you know, now that the tape is done, we're just gonna draft these guys on tape scores alone. If you missed it, Garrett and Jarrett released the nerd scores last night, so that's out there. It's a Nerd Herd episode. I think you go on our X page or YouTube page and you watch a recap of that show as well. Remember, the nerd scores are tape scores only. We locked those in before the draft. Yep. It's based on there. It's out performed NFL draft capital over the last 6 years, so we've had a lot of success with that. So check that out. And of course, it's all everything. I know it's funny. This is a fun exercise because everything we're about to do right now is going to be slightly moot point here in about 5 days because everything's going to change here after the NFL draft. But you know, when I say that, what is the importance of this now? Why would you say, why even do the mock draft now? Because the tape matters, right? There's a lot of times where these guys go in the NFL draft and they go higher or shocking, you know, guys like Justin Ross when they go top 10 in the NFL draft. We have these players that go in the first round, whether it be like Darius Hayward-Bays, where it be the Justin Rosses. We have these running backs that go in certain situations. You get people like, oh my gosh, I forgot his name. The other running back.
John Ross. Justin Ross was the Clemson guy, but yeah, John Ross.
But Justin Ross was no good in Kansas City either. Out of Clemson.
True.
You know, and you get guys that go high in the second round, like Zach Charbonnet, right? And then once all said and done, you know, it's a guy we liked. He was right around running back 4. He goes to Seattle in the second round, really good draft capital. I come on the podcast that Sunday after the NFL draft and I poop all over him, right? And people were giving me slack. I was like, Zach Charbonnet just dropped a whole round in my eyes. And I explained because of Kenneth Walker. So people's situation changed for the better. People's situation changes for the worse. The NFL draft and draft capital is not everything, right? So the tape matters because you have to look at these players like, wow, they took this guy in the first round before the NFL draft. Now he's going late second round here available. Like there's value there, right? So it's always good to chase the talent because talent usually that cream rises to the top. So we are basing this draft off of strictly the tape, that kind of production. NFL draft capital does mean something. You know, landing spots mean something. Like Zach Charbonnet, he was a nice running back. He showed when he gets an opportunity, he's a nice running back in the NFL. He's in a bad spot. He's with Kenneth Walker. He's a better running back. You know, same thing. Many of these running backs that we like end up behind Bijan Robinson. They end up behind, you know, certain running backs that are Jahmyr Gibbs or some of those lines. Like their value is going to depreciate, right? So same thing. If a receiver ends up in a situation where he'll be the number 1 receiver, there's a path of the clear number 2. He's going to get a bump. Second round pedigree matters. Running backs that get second and third round pedigree matters. Quarterbacks that go in the first round matter greatly. So this is a super flex tight end rookie mock draft. I'm going to kick it off. I lucked out. I don't know how. It's just the 3 of us, but I end up at the 1-1. And this is easy. This is chalk. I think outside of any format, unless you play in an IDP league, I think outside of any format but that, Ashton Jeanty is the 1-1. If you play in an IDP league and you could double dip on Travis Hunter, then I talked to my boy John Glosser, who I'm super stoked to meet for the first time this weekend in New York for our Nerds retreat. He said, he's like, yeah, Travis Hunter is worth the 1-1 there because you're double dipping on those cornerback points. So outside of that, though, most, if you don't play, majority of our audience doesn't play in IDP, whether it be super flex, whether it be start 2 tight ends, it doesn't matter. Ashton Jeanty's the 1-1. He's an extremely elite prospect. He's the second highest graded running back that's graded out over the last 6 years for us by the Nerd Score. You can argue Saquon would have rated higher, Zeke Elliott would have rated higher, but we go on what we have. And over the last 6 years, Ashton Jeanty is just that contact balance through the roof. Nuts. His catching ability. I mean, he's an all-pro running back. That's the value that he has. So when you get somebody who could be a running back, that's a 3-down back that's going to get the draft capital that he's going to get. Now everybody say the money's on number 5 to Jacksonville, right there with the Liam Cohen offense. Like, you can't pass up on that kind of value. That's the kind of value that gets you anything you want in return. It's going to be hard to get Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Malik Neighbors, but these are the kind of players that open those doors. So I don't care if you have 5 running backs. I don't care if you have Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, Breece Hall, Jonathan Taylor, and Saquon Barkley. You're still taking Ashton Jeanty, and then you're going to trade away one of those running backs. So for me, guys, easy pick here. This is chalk. Ashton Jeanty, 1-1. Matt, you're on the clock at 1-2.
All right. Totally agree that Ashton Jeanty is the 1-1, by the way. Pretty chalk on that one. And with me up at 1-2, I listen, I originally, when I, probably a couple weeks ago when we did Travis Hunter, I said, this guy is the second best guy in the draft. I think I have him at number 2, but at this point in the draft, the draft is fast approaching. I'm starting to waver just a little bit in Superflex tight end premium. I know that Travis Hunter is still the highest upside guy left on the table, but I'm contemplating Cam Ward. I mean, he's locked and loaded as the 1-1. So that thought is running through my head. That all that said, I did end up pulling the trigger on Travis Hunter, and that's my pick here at 1-2. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of insight as to where I was kind of leaning or thinking about, at least going in a different direction here at 1-2. Yeah. So if especially if you're a QB needy team, I would feel okay doing that. And it's only because Travis Hunter has that little bit of risk, right? There's a little bit of risk that, hey, this guy could play full-time corner with a little bit of wide receiver sprinkled in. Everyone thinks, no, that's not going to happen, but it's still a real possibility. Until we actually see how he's deployed, that's the only time we're going to know for sure what we're getting in a guy like Travis Hunter, which was just enough of a seed planted in the back of my mind to at least let Cam Ward kind of the little sapling grow, so to speak, in the back of my mind that he could be the pick there at number 2. But I ended up going Travis Hunter. The guy's ball skills are insane. He's still a little bit raw, obviously, as a route runner and stuff, but he has all of the upside in the world to go out and become an elite wide receiver. So and he's the only guy I see that in that respect from the wide receiver crop here. So I went ahead and took Travis Hunter at number 2.
It was funny because I just happened to be on because it's a Google Doc. So I happened to be on at the same time. And I think you actually at one point, it highlighted that you clicked Cam Ward and then you unclicked. Yep. So you really were thinking about it. You're not just
Absolutely
saying that, you genuinely were thinking about it.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think I talked on the Nerd Herd show, Matt, last week, we talked about this. I actually brought this point up to Garrett on the Nerd Herd. We actually had a 5-minute conversation. I said, I think the biggest conundrum people are going to find here in their rookie drafts. And I was like, I want to know what you're going to do, what you would do, Garrett. And he actually changed my mind on this, but I was like, I think the biggest conundrum is going to be Cam Ward, right? I was actually going to talk about this on my pick, but since you were thinking about where do you go? You're going to have 2 to 3 first round running backs go in the first round. And that is unbelievably tempting. Those are shiny toys. You got Travis Hunter. And you know what? And unless the Browns don't draft Travis Hunter right now, I'm totally okay taking Travis Hunter too as well, because the Browns have said, the GM has said they view him as a receiver. He's going to play receiver full time. He's playing receiver first. Second will be cornerback.
Right.
He said he's going to major in wide receiver and minor in defensive back if they were to draft him, essentially. So for me, that's again, he's the one-on-one of this class. Where Ashton Jeanty, he's an elite running back. He's not the one of one, right? Like he's easily the 1-1, but you can get TreVeyon Henderson, Omarion Hampton, and still be extremely happy and get production equal to, if possibly, even outproduce him from a fantasy perspective. Another guy like TreVeyon Henderson, who could be heavily involved in the passing game. Travis Hunter, to us, is like the one elite receiver that offers you that, the chase, that upside of the Jamar Chases, the Justin Jefferson. So I think the conundrum people are going to have here is that Cam Ward, and Superflex leagues. It's not many opportunities you don't get the 1-1 quarterback, 1-1 overall, past the first or worst case second pick, right? So you took Travis Hunter here, which I'm not going to argue, and I think it is a nice tier here. I think, like you said, it's going to come down to your team structure. I think if you need a quarterback, right? Say like your quarterback 1 is Justin Herbert, your quarterback 2 is Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, Russell Wilson, some of those lines. I think you have to take Cam Ward. I really do. I think you have to take Cam Ward and at least gamble on the upside of that quarterback being a mid-range quarterback, right? Quarterback 18. If Cam Ward turns out to be quarterback 18 on a year-to-year basis, then that's a massive win. That's a top 60 overall PPR score. You do not lose. You don't have the shiny toy. You don't have the QB1, but you have an elite fantasy asset that's going to be a championship caliber player sliding at your quarterback 2. And over the history, outside of Jamarcus Russell, the verdict's still out on Bryce Young. I know we're not overly optimistic about him, but we weren't optimistic about him coming out anyways. Like he's one of those rare ones that even when he came out, we're like, we'll pass on that. We'll go CJ Stroud.
Right. Yep.
Outside of that, historically, the 1-1 at quarterback finds success, and they have a huge, extremely long leash as well there at the 1-1. So it's going to be interesting where these players go and where you want to go. I know Garrett's counterpoint was like, listen, if you hit on Travis Hunter, if you hit on TreVeyon Henderson, and you hit on Omarion Hampton, right, and they're elite assets, they're elite running back 1s, top 6 at their positions, you can flip those guys for quarterback 18. And we know the quarterback's a 50-50 gamble at best. So Garrett said, if I have more confidence in these skill players, I'm just sitting there speaking for Garrett as I'm looking at it.
No, you're doing a great job. I love it.
Garrett said, if those players hit, you can easily trade for quarterback 18. Now, will you get a 22-year-old quarterback 18? Probably not. But like we mentioned, like you could probably get a Brock Purdy who's higher than quarterback 18 for the most part.
Right.
And when he said that, I was like, you're right. You have a 21-year-old running back here. He's a top 6 running back. You can get the proven asset at quarterback. And that's what kind of changed my mind slightly. I don't think Cam Ward's going to get out of my tier of the TreVeyon Henderson, Travis Hunter tier for me, Matt, like yours. But I am 100% more confident in Travis Hunter and TreVeyon Henderson than I am Cam Ward.
The counterpoint to that is, what if Travis Hunter goes to a team that he majors in cornerback and minors in wide receiver, and he essentially he's a hit or miss prospect week in and week out, and really he's not worth anything, and you can't get jack squat for him.
Well, that's
the counterpoint.
Well, that's only if he doesn't go to the Browns. That's if he doesn't go to the Browns.
Right. I mean, so that's what's going through my head when I'm making this pick. And I think that's going to be going through a lot of people's heads at number 2. Do I pull the trigger on this high upside guy, or do I go for the safe route and the practical route with the quarterback at
Listen,
number 2?
Here's the good thing, right? The moment after Thursday ends and the Friday morning they had a press conference, wherever Travis Hunter goes, which I predict is going to be Cleveland, the very first question going to be asked immediately, where's he playing? Where do we see him? And that GM's going to say, hey, we mostly see him here. We're going to work him in on this side of the ball. So we'll know right away. So before you draft your rookies, you will know where Travis Hunter goes. So, Garrett, you're on the clock at 1-3.
Yep.
Did you go Cam Ward?
I did not go Cam Ward. And you made a really compelling argument that sounds so familiar. I went with the running back here. And honestly, I kept going back and forth between TreVeyon and Omarion. And for me, my nerd score is higher on TreVeyon. But right now, I'm more confident that Omarion is a first-round pick than TreVeyon being a first-round pick. So that was the tiebreaker for me to just take Omarion Hampton here at 3 over TreVeyon. But like, if they both get first-round draft capital and similar landing spots, it's going to be TreVeyon over Omarion for me. But just not knowing, having to do it pre-draft, I wanted to get that first-round running back, because that's the thing. That's the crux of the argument for me, is those first-round running backs almost never miss. Like, the hit rate on first-round running back is absolutely ridiculous. And if I have a top 5 pick in a draft, I really got to make sure I don't miss, because that's what sets you back. Like, if you get a position that maybe you didn't need as much, okay, like, that sucks. But if you miss on that player, that sets you back an entire season. An entire season, you get set back because you miss on that pick. So that's the thing for me. I wanted to play it as safe and as smart as I could at 3, and I think that guy is Omarion Hampton. But honestly, if I'm sitting anywhere with a top 5 pick, I don't feel, well, I should say 2 through 5. I don't feel much different about any of those players. Like, you could have said any player at 2, any player at 3, any player at 4, any player at 5, and I'd be like, yeah, that was a good pick. I might have gone a different route, but like, all of these guys are very good fantasy assets, and it's a really fun tier to be in.
Yeah, once Hampton secures that first-round pedigree, Hunter, Hampton, Henderson, Ward, it's a can't miss. Now, obviously, in Superflex leagues, you need the quarterback. So I'm still going to stand at that standpoint of, like, if you need a quarterback, yeah, you can gamble. Listen, because the running backs, too, they're gambles, right? Yeah, you're right. First-round pedigree running backs outside of Clyde Edwards-Helaire are pretty much can't-miss prospects. Like, they are absolutely dominant. And even Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who knows, he had a lot of issues going on outside of just football. So for me, I'm still saying, though, if you need a quarterback, you got to gamble on the 1-1 Cam Ward there. So I'm up, right? And this isn't a vacuum. And I went TreVeyon Henderson, and I was real torn here again. Even in a mock draft, I was torn. But I went back with what you kind of said there, Gary. I was like, listen, this is a pass catch and running back. He's explosive, excellent on third downs. He'll never not be on the field on third downs. He offers that Alvin Kamara upside to me.
For sure.
And, even though it doesn't matter where my team is. So, right. So, like, the argument is, how bad is your team that got the 1-1, the 1-2, 1-3, 1-4? Like, the last thing you want to do is, when you're in a rebuild, is the first piece you add is a running back, right? Like, the most fluid position on your roster. But the point is, you always take the best player available, because once Jeanty hits, if he hits like he's supposed to, Hampton hits, Henderson hits, now you can flip those into multiple assets, a proven asset, a proven young asset, and get into that 27 draft capital as well. So, best player available here, real core, like Matt, I was real close here taking Cam Ward, but right now I'm still kind of predicting, I'm standing on what my prediction that TreVeyon Henderson will be a first-round pick in the NFL draft on Thursday night. That is my prediction. My bold prediction is he goes ahead of Omarion Hampton. That's my bold prediction. But I do feel Henderson is going to be a first-round pick, and that's enough for me to take over Cam Ward in a Superflex league. And either I need him and I hold on to him for a while, or I flip him for a king's ransom here year 1, right? And get that return year 1. Because quarterbacks, even quarterbacks are hard to produce at a high level year 1. Outside of you have that great Russian side like Jayden Daniels. See these guys occasionally come out and pop. CJ Stroud popped his first year. But for the most part, even generational guys that people call, generational, but extremely high-end talents like Caleb Williams doesn't pop after the first year. You see things that you like out of Drake May, see things you like out of Michael Penix and Caleb Williams. But usually it takes like a year or two for those guys to really come in and be high-end assets. So I took TreVeyon Henderson here. Matt, you're at 1-5. I think everybody kind of sees where this goal is going. It's like writing your name in the snow.
Yeah, slam dunk. I'm going to pee Cam Ward's name right in the snow here and make him my pick real fast and easy. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I didn't think he was going to come back. This being Superflex and everything, I'm going to be picking one of these, either Omarion Hampton or TreVeyon Henderson. You guys went back to back with running back, so it was a slam dunk easy pick. I'm going with the 1-1 in the NFL draft, Cam Ward.
Yep. So this is we said this is a tier, right? That we just exited a tier. We said Ashton Jeanty's a 1-1 by himself. We named the next 4 people there. I think this is where drafts are going to start to really separate themselves pretty drastically. And honestly, I think if TEP McMillan goes top 12, which I would bet probably my house on TEP McMillan goes top 12 in the NFL draft. Okay, maybe not my house, but I would bet something significant that TEP McMillan goes top 12, top 15. I think TEP McMillan for some people are going to be in this range too. But I think this is where it gets real interesting for Superflex leagues. This is where the variance is going to really kick into effect, where the multiverse is going to really, kind of diversify itself. We all live the same life up until this point, but now there's a lot of forks in the road. And Garrett, what are you sticking your fork into? What are you taking a little dabble, a taste of? What's on the end of that little prong?
Fork, yeah. I went and I got myself a Quinshon Judkins. And this was a super, super hard pick for me because like Matt did earlier, I clicked Loveland and then unclicked him. And then because it's tight end premium. And I think both of these tight ends are fantastic, but I had a little rant last night on the, on the show that we did for the Nerd Score. And when we compiled our all-time nerd scores for running back, so this is Jared and I's tape grades together, Quinshon Judkins, even though he's the 4th running back in this class, he's our 6th rated running back of all time. 6th. So he's outpacing, at least score-wise, the number 1 running back in almost every class we've done, except for in 21 and 2023. He would be the one in every other class. And in those ones, he would have been number 2. So how much would I normally pay for a running back of that level? If I'm willing to score a guy that high, I think he's going to be discounted because he's the 4th guy in this class. So he's going to be a lot cheaper. But I'm going to be aggressively moving up into the 6, 7, 8, 9 spot if I need a running back, because I do believe in this player. I believe that he is truly a top 10 player at running back that we've had over the past 6 seasons. So I'm all in on this. I really like this player. Now, this is one where I'm watching the draft capital closely. I'm expecting him to be a top 50 pick. If he slips towards the very end of round 2, okay, I don't love it, but whatever. If he slips into round 3, that changes my opinion quite a bit. Even though that's still good draft capital, that would start to worry me that maybe the NFL sees this guy differently than I see him, and I'm going to need to go back and see why they don't value him as a 2nd round pick. So this is what I'm watching maybe the most closely out of all of them here to see where he goes, because it could alter and change this a lot for me. But I love the player. I think he has a 3-down skill set, and he's a perfect fit for how NFL offenses are running. They could use him as a bell cow, but they could easily use him as a complementary piece as well. But he would still be the main feature back, I think, in any system he goes into. So all that being said, Quinshon Judkins, pick 6.
So it would change your mind. Say Quinshon Judkins goes high in the 3rd round to the Raiders. High.
That would change things for me.
And then TEP McMillan goes 10 to Carolina.
Yeah, that would change things for me. TEP would move up a little bit. Those tight ends would move up a little bit. I probably would go Loveland here. So it would be a tough call. But so I'm really waiting to see. I think he goes top 50. I would be very surprised if he doesn't go top 50. Yeah, but we'll see.
I agree. And you're right. The NFL, like I said, remember how during this breakdown, how close all these players were for all of us. So the NFL draft will kind of help diversify these tiers for us as well. And remember, we're doing a mock draft now. Our very next shows you hear from us outside of this are going to be mock drafts that we're recording on Sunday after the NFL draft. And those shows, we'll talk about who went where, why we're taking players, why we like them where they're at. So yeah, yep. I like Quinshon Judkins here, but again, this, and for anybody sitting there at home or listening or watching going, oh, how do you take Judkins over this player, over that player? I just said, this is going to be a wide array of a tier, right? Of players. There's players that you're going to like that are going to slip to you. So this is going to be part of the draft where you're going to have to start getting real aggressive, right? Because at the same time, if there's a player you love, I think at the same time, there's going to be, you could be like, oh, somebody else might be willing to move back because they love Quinshon Judkins and they're going to see all the ADP they can get him back a little bit. They love Colston Loveland. They love Tyler Warren. They love Emeka. I'm like, hey, you know what? If I get an extra 2nd round pick, because this 2nd round, listen, Wait till we get the second round. This class is loaded.
Ooh, yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, I was kind of satisfied in the third round. It's like, it's like that second.
There were some good players there at the top for sure.
If you're laying there naked and you get your leg rubbed, like, hey, you want to go again? And you're like, I don't know if I can. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So you're right. So I'm on the clock at 1-7, but before I go and see where I have, before I go for that second round, I need a breather. Just give me a couple minutes. Come on, little whispers in my ear or something, rub my hair.
Rub your toes, I hope. I don't know what
you're like. Yeah, I'm ready to go, but just rub my belly for a little bit first. Okay, teddy bear.
Can't beat a good belly rub.
Guys, gals, I got to tell you about our friends over at FastDraft. If you've been listening, and I'm super stoked. So many people have been out there taking, like, over those last couple of weeks. So many people have signed up for this offer. I'm just stoked. Like, some people are coming around like, wow, this really is just an amazing offer. So not only do you have a chance to do best ball drafts and draft faster than anywhere else you could do best ball, right? Like, you're in, you're out. Kind of going back to the belly rub. It's like same thing. You're in and you're out. At FastDraft, that's where it is. You can do rookie only drafts right now until the rookie draft. They have the Origins draft. They have the new drafts coming. FastDraft. You get in there right now. Use the promo code NERDS. They're going to match your deposit up to $50. And get in there. If you love best ball, this is another app for you to go out there and do some best ball drafts on and have a ton of fun. Best ball is the funnest way to dominate your summers. You don't have to worry about new dynasty startups because you want, like, the biggest thing that helps me scratch that itch and brings me back. What's that drug that gets you off of, like, heroin? What's that called? When they, like, I don't know what it's called. But
cocaine.
We'll call it anti-heroin drug, right?
Don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what heroin does, but hopefully no, I'll never know. I'm kind of like, whatever do with heroin? What a dumb thing to even think about. That's where it starts, boys. So, like, the thing that makes me is, man, because why do you want to do a new startup? You want to draft. That's the urge. You want to draft. Fast drafts get you to scratch that itch, right? That keeps you away from all those new startups and bailing on these leagues because all of a sudden, oh, guys, I found myself in too many leagues, or oh, I have this going on, or that. Whatever.
It's too much to manage. Yeah, too much to manage. Come on.
Meanwhile, they're joining another startup 3 months later. I've seen it with my own eyes.
I've seen it too.
They're the worst. But I see it because I'm in the biz. FastDraft is going to scratch that itch for you. And on top of that, what I'm so stoked about, where I kind of deterred there, is if you use the promo code NERDS, deposit $10, you play in a game, we're going to give you free access to Dynasty Nerds. You're going to get the Dynasty GM. You're going to get the Nerd Score, the Nerd Score Plus, the film room to go back and look at these rookies that you drafted and salivate over them from the All 22 film, the extra podcast, everything that's coming out in the next year, the rookie app, you're going to get access to free. You're going to get access to the data hub when that comes out. So much stuff you're going to get access to for the price of $10 at FastDraft. And I promise you, once you deposit $10, if you try to pull the hustle of like, dude, I'm just going to deposit $10 in here, they're going to match me to 20, and then I'm going to get this free Nerds. I promise you, you're going to be playing FastDraft. You're going to be like, oh, you know what? I need to scratch that itch. It's June. Oh my gosh, it's July. I'm just put another extra $100 in here real quick and win some money. So check them out. FastDraft, draftfaster.com. Get in there. Use the promo code NERDS. We're going to send you some free stuff. If you're a Nerd Herd member already, we're going to send you a free shirt. A lot of shirts went out today. I saw them all go out today. It's reminding me of that. So check them out. FastDraft.
All right. And we also want to make sure you head over to my FFPC. Look, the NFL draft is here. It's here. So you talked about those startups. If you're somebody like, I don't want to just like scratch the itch, like I'm all in. I need some new startups. Go to myffpc.com. You don't have to worry about them folding, caving, it not happening. Some sketchy manager steals all your money. Like, you don't have to worry about all that. It is the safest place to play. And you can do some small leagues. You can do some $35 leagues. And if that's the case, we can give you $25 off that $35 league. But you might be a baller and you might be like, look, that's cool. Even the $100 leagues, like, that's cool. That's good for you guys. But I'm going to play in a league that's like $2K, $2,500, something like that, and if you win a league like that, you are bringing home some bacon, my friends. So head over to myffpc.com. That's myffpc.com. Don't wait. These leagues are filling up fast.
Something you don't know about me, Joe Rogan. I love these dynasty startups. I'm on the clock. 1-7. And there's
something else. There's another itch that you're about to scratch right now, right?
No, and the slut in me is starting to emerge and come out, and I'm like, look at Tetairoa McMillan, who went top 10 to the Carolina Panthers allegedly. Look at Emeka Egbuka, who repaired up with CJ Stroud out there in Houston. Look at Cam Skattebo, who went real high to somebody sexy. I don't know where yet. Look at these other quarterbacks: Jaxson Dart, Shedeur Sanders with first round pedigree. Like, this is super flex, and I'm picking out 1-7. All of that can't stop me. Listen, once a slut, always a slut, and I can't miss out on my tight ends. And I'm taking Colston Loveland here, tight end. This is super flex tight end premium. I don't even honestly though. Even if this wasn't super flex tight end premium, it was just regular PPR. I think this is still a very good place for Colston Loveland. He's guaranteed to get first round pedigree. My dream scenario is somehow he goes to the Chargers. That's my dream scenario.
Oh yeah.
I would probably take him higher if he goes to the Chargers. I would take him one pick higher for Garrett.
One pick higher.
I would trade up with Garrett. Like, hey, dude, I'm not taking Quinshon.
So much higher.
Go back here. So much higher. And her heroin. So I'm taking Colston Loveland. Listen, he's a wide receiver in tight end clothing, right? This is what he is. He's not a blocking tight end. He's a line up wide. He is the Travis Kelce's. And if he could turn into that kind of tight end, right? If that's his ceiling, if he could turn into the Travis Kelce tight end, just remember what you had when you had Travis Kelce. When you look back and you looked at best ball drafts and championships and redraft leagues, most of those people that won had Travis Kelce on their roster because he was giving you wide receiver 1 production at the tight end position. That is the cheat code, right? That is the ultimate cheat code in fantasy football, is that elite fantasy tight end that's catching passes a lot, a ton of passes and giving you wide receiver 1 production, not tight end 1 production, wide receiver 1. It's most likely going to be low end to mid range wide receiver 1, but wide receiver 1 nonetheless. That is how you win dynasty fantasy football championships. That's how you get the edge on your opponent. And tight end premium, that is how you get whatever you want. Again, go trade for Brock Bowers. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck trying to trade for Sam Laporte after his rookie year. And if you've been playing dynasty over the last 5 years, you surely remember the extravaganza after Kyle Pitts' rookie year. He was we said on this show, I think after his rookie year, I was like, Kyle Pitts might be the most expensive dynasty asset I have ever seen. He is the hardest player to get. He's the most expensive, bar none, after his rookie year. Now, of course, just goes to show you.
Things have changed.
Things could change on a dime for you.
I just made a trade for Kyle Pitts that was like more or less like it was something like pick 210, and I got a little bit more, and I'm still like, did I get enough? I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough, and same thing. You're like, man, his value is appreciated. I should probably trade for Kyle Pitts. And you're like, oh man, it's like you see this like Lamborghini in the swamp, and you're like, that's a good looking shell of a car. Like,
right,
still
that could work there.
Probably not. It's in the swamp. So, yeah, Colston Loveland for me here, and I think, like I said, anywhere I think is pretty fair value here. Matt, you're on the clock at 1-8. Where are you going?
Well, Rich, you started the itch, and whatever it was, the fleas, whatever that was making you itch, jumped onto me real quick, and I went right to Tyler Warren. I mean, the do-it-all tight end from Penn State, who literally I saw line up everywhere on the field, including at center and snapping a ball. And on top of it, the crazy production, over 1,200 yards last year, and he was running out of the Wildcat. He was doing everything. So I think this is an easy pick here in tight end premium because I like the wide receivers in this class. I'm not in love with these guys. I'm not sure if there's a lot of high end guys, but I feel really good about Tyler Warren being a high end producer in the NFL. And for specifically for fantasy purposes. So in tight end premium, I think this is a slam dunk and a very easy pick right here at 1-8.
I was hoping so bad that one of you, like I knew
you
deep
done
down,
messed up. You
guys
done messed
love
up.
tight end.
When you picked Quinshon Judkins, you done messed up.
Yep.
No, I don't regret that,
bro.
I do not regret that.
You know what I do to tight ends,
but I knew what was going to happen.
I'm married.
Yeah, I was hoping. So this in a way, like it doesn't feel like a new tier, but it almost feels like a sub tier, maybe. Like I don't know, because I could see a lot of these players, these next 4 or 5 guys, having similar value to the Lovelands, the Warrens, the Quinshons, but it does feel like just a tad below where we're kind of starting a new tier here.
Yeah, the NFL draft's going to change that for you. It's going to.
I think so. I think it will.
Bunch those together like you're making cookies. You got to I don't know. I never make cookies. What am I talking?
You never
about?
make cookies, Rich. Don't even try that analogy.
You remember when that one time you made cookies and they pulled them out and you stuck them on a sheet and just heated them up? Yeah, I remember that.
I don't think
he's an asker, not a doer. He never did that in his life.
Oh, that's almost the 1-year anniversary of that quote.
I don't think I've made cookies before. And, not even Chef Boyardee over here. Sorry. Go ahead. So So for Garrett's a new tier. For me, I think these next 2 guys are in that same tier. But what are you looking at?
I went with Emeka Egbuka here. Really close between him and TEP McMillan. Their nerd scores crazy close for me. I expect that TEP will have the higher draft capital, but I think Emeka is the slightly better player and the slightly safer player as well. Once again, I've said this before, but in the first round, especially top 5 or so, but in the first round, I really don't want to miss. I want to make sure I get a good asset. And TEP just has a little more risk to me than an Emeka Egbuka. So that's why I went that route. But I think TEP has the higher ceiling. So I can't blame anybody for going that route. But Emeka Egbuka can fit in basically any offense. You can throw him in the X, you can throw him in the slot, you can throw him at Z. He can succeed in any of those spots. Mentioned it before. He reminds me a lot of Amon-Ra St. Brown, where he does a lot of the little things well. He's strong at the catch point. He's not going to blow anybody away with crazy athleticism, but he's not a bad athlete. He's not an undersized player. He's just really solid across the board. So especially when you add in the just consistency that Ohio State churns out good receivers that perform well in the NFL, it just feels like a really smart pick, a really safe pick. So I went here, but there were 3 or 4 other guys swirling around my brain as possible options as well.
Yeah. If you have any questions, sorry, go ahead, Matt. I talked too much, so you please go.
No, there are late reports coming out that basically, hey, the community out there is maybe kind of not as high on Emeka Egbuka as the NFL circles are. So Emeka Egbuka might be one of these guys that kind of surprises with his draft pedigree here come tomorrow or whatever day this actually goes out or whatever. Because I he's like you mentioned, he's good at everything, and I think there is value in that and at the NFL level. And there's some things that he's very good at, and he's just not great at any one thing. You know what I mean? But he's a very interesting guy, and could be a shocker on draft day.
Yeah, it won't shock me. He graded out as my number 2 receiver. I'm with Garrett. I'll piggyback everything he said. Like, he's the safest player in this draft. I'm on the clock here. 110. It makes a lot of sense. Nobody wants to see it 2 hours. I don't think we can do that. So TEP McMillan's my pick here at 110. And to me, this is somebody who's going to get high, first round pedigree. The one thing I really don't like about him is him getting off the line, him getting pressed. And besides that, I love his ball skills. I love, that he's a big guy that can go out there and run routes. He's somebody.
Catch radius is insane on this dude.
10-inch hands, 4.48 40. He's just a possession beast, and he just dominates the deep ball. He can move linearly. I mean, he adjusts very well. So I said I was going to be a little bit lower on TEP McMillan than most people, and that was only because people were taking TEP McMillan 3rd overall, 4th overall, and it just goes to show you like how deep this class is for this year with the upside of talent. Where I'm pushing a guy like TEP McMillan down to 110. I'm feeling good about that. Like, but there's some risk there. I just want to say there is some risk with TEP McMillan. We do see guys more often than not that have his play style that bust out more than, again, even like the guys that are like Emeka Egbuka, that the first round pedigree. So I like TEP McMillan. I don't want it does when you put up like, oh, I'm gonna be lower on TEP than most people. It sounds like you don't like somebody. Sometimes you can lower somebody in your ranks. You could talk a little bit down about them, but it does not mean you don't like them. If I was sitting here at 110, I am ecstatic to get TEP McMillan. Absolutely ecstatic. That being said, I would have taken every player that we just mentioned over TEP McMillan, right? But at the same time, I'm very happy here. It's just good. I love anytime we have the depth of this class because, you know, we do these classes sometimes. Over the last couple of years, we've been extremely spoiled, right? Like extremely spoiled like this. Same thing with last year's, where you get to like 1-9, 110, and you're gambling on guys like Dorial Green Beckham. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'll gamble on Hakeem Butler. You know, some of those lines. So this is somebody who's going to get really good draft pedigree. Offers out Mike Evans ceiling, which is an extremely, extremely attractive ceiling. So TEP McMillan, 110. Matt?
Yeah, I'm on the clock. I thought you were going to keep going there. Matt, you're on the clock. That's usually how you end that. But at 111.
I was like, go ahead and pick. But I was like, what if you want to say something about TEP? Like great.
TEP McMillan. Yeah, I think I mentioned he's got a good catch radius. You did everything. You did everything so well. The one thing I think you didn't mention is he's good with the ball in his hands, and he can do some things and make some people miss, which is surprising for a big guy like him. That's kind of atypical for those kind of wide receivers. So another kind of special trait that Ted has that not a lot of guys that are 6'4" have and can do. So at 111, I'm on the clock and listen, I've picked Travis Hunter and Cam Ward and Tyler Warren, and this is this great running back class, and I'm wondering when I'm going to get a piece of it, and it's not right now because I'm going Jaxson Dart. I'm going Jaxson Dart, and listen, that might be a little bit of a surprise. Obviously, Shedeur Sanders is probably consensus as the second guy off the board, but obviously there's a lot of rumblings. Hey, this dude might slip out of the first round, and who knows if that's true or not. At this point, I'm operating under the assumption that he's going to be a first-round draft pick. Jaxson Dart's going to be a first-round draft pick. For me, it boils down to Jaxson Dart just has more rushing upside, and we're playing fantasy here. Both guys, I think, are pretty good passers. Not going to blow you away, either one of them, with arm strength. Like a Cam Ward is obviously the kind of king of that castle in this draft, but both of them are good. I see more upside from a fantasy standpoint from a guy like Jaxson Dart because he's got, he rushed for 500 yards last year, 350 the year before, 600 the year before that. And that's just not part of Shedeur Sanders' repertoire at all. It's just not something he's going to do. And without that added bonus, it really puts a little bit of a cap on any quarterback. So I'm going to go Jaxson Dart here at 111. Assuming he's going to be a first-round draft pick, which I think is a pretty safe assumption at this point.
Yeah, I think it's pretty safe.
I think so too. I think he's going to be a first-round pick. Really curious to see where he ends up. I know the Steelers are a heavy favorite for him to potentially go there. I've heard rumblings of the Rams as another spot that he could potentially go. Obviously, short-term you don't love that, but long-term you love that as a potential fit there. So be interested to see kind of how that plays out. I ended up with the last pick of the first round, and I think the last pick of this show, we'll probably do the last two rounds of the next show. We'll go a little quicker. Won't talk about him quite as long, but I went with Shedeur Sanders. I went with the other quarterback. I think I'm still operating under the assumption that he's going to be a top 15, maybe even top 10 pick. At this point, I really don't think he gets past the Saints, but we'll see. I mean, it's definitely we've seen guys just absolutely plummet before. It would not be the first time that's happened. So we could see that happen here. But I think there is enough there, and he's polished enough that I think some teams are going to really be attracted to him. And there's just still a lot of quarterback need in the league. So we could even end up seeing 4. I know there's still rumblings and rumors of Jalen Milroe. I don't think that's going to happen, but you never know. But all that being said,
there was even Tyler Shough.
I saw that the other day.
Like low key
believe
Tyler Shough. I don't think so either. But I mean, that's just the kind of push up that any quarterback gets this time of year because there is such a need, like you'd mentioned.
Yeah. So for me, I think just the draft capital alone gives me pretty good confidence in him. But I also think he could be a very solid, steady fantasy contributor. I don't see him having a real ceiling like some of these other guys. Even in the perfect offense, his ceiling is maybe quarterback 10. Like he just isn't going to be this crazy high fantasy producer, but he's a very accurate quarterback and he's a very smart quarterback. And those are two things I care about a lot at the position.
Right.
Yeah,
No doubt. Let me ask you this. Hold on, Rich. If you were in my position, one spot ahead, would you have picked Shedeur Sanders or would it be Jaxson Dart?
Today, I would have, because I don't want to miss, and I think there's a better chance of Dart going in the second than Shedeur. But if
you would take Shedeur over,
I would take Shedeur.
Okay.
But if I knew for sure, without a shadow of a doubt, both were going first round, I would probably take Dart.
Okay, and I'm just gonna say this, because I think what you're saying, Garrett, is what a lot of people are gonna be saying as well. Two things on that. One, pick 11 and 12 are the champion and a runner-up in your league. There's very, very little times in your dynasty life in Superflex leagues where you get first-round quarterbacks that slip to that area of your draft. What an amazing opportunity for you to grab those guys. And I think they're going to slip because of a lot of things that Garrett just said. But the most unpredictable position, certainly from a dynasty standpoint, and certainly from an NFL standpoint, to the point where people get paid millions upon millions of dollars to take these gambles and they fail 50% of the time. We don't know. Garrett doesn't know what Shedeur Sanders is going to say. There was a quarterback that I loved coming out of Purdue. Right around the year 2001, I believe, 2001. And same thing, smaller guy, some people say he didn't have the strongest arm, not a lot of mobility whatsoever. Went picked 2-1 in the NFL draft. He went 2-1. And he ended up being the most accurate Super Bowl winning quarterback, Hall of Famer, Drew Brees, right? Lamar Jackson, people talked about like here in the Browns, for the Browns, it was, Mel Kiper had a really good point. Like, trading back up. If you like him, just take him. Like, well, the Ravens took Hayden Hurst in the first to 16th and they traded back up at 32 for Lamar Jackson, and Lamar Jackson slipped because of his accuracy. Josh Allen slipped because of his accuracy. We don't know. We do know Shedeur Sanders was the most accurate quarterback coming out in college football. Not coming out, but in all of college football last year. Not only that, one of the all-time greatest completion percentages, a little over 70%, Shedeur Sanders is. So you don't know. We don't know what they're going to be. They might be that, just okay, which in Superflex, that's fine. If you're 25 years old and your quarterback 18, 19, that's okay. You're a starter on my fantasy team, week in and week out. That's okay.
Yep.
So they had the opportunity to grab a Jaxson Dart and Shedeur Sanders. Mind you, I think we're only drafting them here if they get first round pedigrees, which what we're kind of predicting here. That's where they go.
Absolutely.
What a great opportunity you have. And I know, and listen, it is going to come down when you're a championship caliber. I have to assume if you're in the championship caliber, if you're in the championship of your league, you have your roster filled out. You have good players. You're just there. So you're in position. You should be taking best player available. What a good opportunity for you this year to grab one of these quarterbacks. And maybe just somebody else to grab one at like 8 or 9, but probably Dart or Sanders is going to be there right around pick 112. And I know if in a couple leagues I am in, rather than championship, I'm grabbing that quarterback. And I'll gamble. And listen, maybe I'll end up with Kenny Pickett, but maybe I'll end up with Drew Brees. Maybe I'll end up with Lamar Jackson, not from his run style, but just a quarterback one. Maybe I will. It's a gamble. But if you go back to history of rookie draft picks 9 through 12, historically, it's a 50-50 shot no matter what position you draft. Historically, 50% to be rosterable. So that's the first round. Rookie draft. We're going back tomorrow. We're going to cover rounds 2 through 3. Like Garrett said, that show is going to be a little bit quicker. To recap, in order, our picks 1 through 12 in our pre-NFL draft, rookie Superflex tight end premium rookie mock draft. It went in order: Ashton Jeanty, Travis Hunter, Omarion Hampton, TreVeyon Henderson, Cam Ward, Quinshon Judkins, Colston Loveland, Tyler Warren, Emeka Egbuka, TEP McMillan, Jaxson Dart, Shedeur Sanders. Boy, does that sound absolutely gorgeous before the draft. It always does. It always does. 3 years from now, we'll look back on this and going, "Ugh, man, how do you pass up on Jordan James? What a great value." Later. Something along those lines. Last show before the NFL draft.
That's crazy.
My favorite
I can't
time.
believe it.
I try to think, I love Thanksgiving's up there, really high. 4th of July is up there really high. Thanksgiving's nice because you're watching football too. You're watching football, you're getting fat, you don't have to go to work. But like for us, this is our job. So we don't have to work on Friday, the NFL draft. For the Thanksgiving, I'm hanging out with my family and eating food and laying around. For the NFL draft, I'm hanging out with all my friends and watching the NFL draft and talking about our rookie draft. So I honestly think this might be my favorite weekend out of the 300 or the 52 weekends of the year.
It really might be. It's pretty
definitely
fantastic.
up there. Yeah.
I'm getting more excited. I just went out in between shows and saw Nick Piovano. He's our head of product for Dynasty Nerds. He's going with us in New York. He came in a day early because he's from New York. He's a Yankees fan. Sucks to be him. And obviously you can see me in my sexy ass Tribe hat. Him, myself, Matt, we're going to the Tribe game. The Yankees Tribe game tomorrow at 1. So it's been nice. We're kicking our draft weekend off even a day earlier. It's going to be fun. So I'm super stoked. I can't wait. And let's just dive into it. So these picks, we're going to cover rounds 2 through 3. We're in rounds 2 and 3. Not as much of analysis. Let's kind of give you a point where we stand on these players. Maybe just a quick word real quick on the player. We don't need to rebuttal them or go back and forth of why that player likes that. Let's just kind of take it for what it is and move on. How does that sound with you sluts?
I'll let Garrett speak. I don't know.
I am offended, but I agree.
I said sluts,
Yes,
plural,
let's do it.
Matt. Plural.
I'm a gentleman slut. I let him speak first.
That's true. I have been really good friends with Matt for 30 years, and I have never, and I'm not even being facetious, I have never seen him be slutty whatsoever, which is crazy. Because a face like that, you think he'd be out there just motorboat. We'd be a motorboat son of a bee, but he's not. He's not. Thank God. That's why
not my style. Not my
that's
style.
why he
Man.
blessed you with that face and not me, because he got I knew he'd keep me under. I'd cross the line. You'd be like, I gotta keep it close to me, son. I gotta keep it close. Let me just stick those ears out a little bit more for you. Come on now, son. Sit back down. Sit back down. All right. So I'm on the clock here. I'm at 2-1, and I'm excited. 2-1. I think everybody listening pre-NFL draft is going to be real excited about the second round. I will say at the NFL draft, this might get hindered just a little bit about excitement.
We'll see.
So, but there'll be new names, new faces. So I'm on the clock here, 2-1. I'm super stoked. I get my boo, Cam Skattebo, one of my favorite underrated players in this entire draft class. It seems like everybody in the community is down on Cam Skattebo, but us and Jared, which is nuts because when the whole dynasty community is down on a player, you think with the 4 of us, one of us is like, yeah, I understand where they're coming from. Yeah. None of us have any idea where these people are coming from. His contact balance, only second to Ashton Jeanty. And even then, it's pretty damn equal to Ashton Jeanty, for being honest. He's got really good feet. He's really nice and tight quarters. Amazing footwork for his size. Amazing pass catching ability. Like you
That's
said,
what sets him apart.
Yeah, and you said Jared said it yesterday on the podcast. He's like, we need to come up with a new stat where we have the stat that cans and cannots. We need the ones that excel, right? The difference makers there. He's a difference maker in that passing game. He goes through traffic really well. People want to knock his speed. He's fast enough. And I'm going to say as well, people want to buy it. He said no burst and all this. Cam Skattebo does have some very short bursts in short areas. It's just
long speed he doesn't have.
He doesn't have it, which he does everything else. So I'm extremely excited about Cam Skattebo. And I'm not going to lie. this is probably the top player that I'm watching. Like, I'm most excited about where he goes. Like, I'm like, come on, go second round, baby. Prove me right. Go second round.
If you had to predict right now, like, where would you set the over under on him?
Pick 12, 32. Pick 10 in the third round. Top 10 in the third round.
Okay. So like 74.
And I would take the under.
Okay.
No, he said top 10 in the third round?
Yeah.
Or second round?
Third
round. Okay.
Third.
So yeah,
I think that's where I would set it. That's where I would set it because he is a running back.
Okay.
We already mentioned 4 other running backs that we love as well that we predicted to go ahead of them. So there's only some spots to go. I think a lot of those teams in the top 10 need a running back, but they're going to find themselves more hard pressed with how deep this draft is at defensive line, offensive line. They kind of pass up that positional value when knowing they can get a guy like Cam Skattebo in the third. So I would put the over under at about like 74, like Garrett said. But I would take the under because I believe in Cam Skattebo, stud. Matt, you're on the clock, 2-2. Where are you gonna anti-flaccid on?
I was really hoping Cam Skattebo was going to fall to me, and I was finally going to get my first running back. Again, did not happen. I went Jack Bech, and this is a guy that we kind of evaluated late in this process for the wide receivers, and I really like this guy's game. He's always getting open. He just feels like this guy that, to me, he feels like a Cooper Kupp-esque type of guy at the next level that's going to be able to gobble up tons of targets, become a quarterback's best friend, and really become a PPR machine. So I went with Jack Bech here. I know that there's maybe some more explosive guys out there, but I do think he's got very good change of direction if he does not also, if he doesn't really possess the long speed that some of these other guys have. He knows how to get open, and he has short area burst and is always open, and he's got super reliable hands. So Jack Bech was my guy here.
All right, Matt's done being pretty little Bech. Garrett, you're up at 2-3.
Yeah, and I got Jalen Royals at 2-3. Really, really excited about him. Walked away from his tape, just really all around a very complete player. Feels like somebody. He's one at the wide receiver position. I'm really watching because I think he's a round 2 guy. Like, I think he's end of the round 2. I know Brugler in his mock, he had him going. I think it was picked like 58 to Houston. So like, he feels like a player that's like end of the second round to me. And historically, those second round receivers are just fantastic assets. And the type of game that he plays where he can do a lot after the catch too, you can really get some good yak opportunity with this guy. So I just really like Royals, and I'm comfortable taking him here. But if he gets some really good draft capital, I could see him going even a little bit higher.
All right, I'm on the clock here at 2-4. Yakety yak, don't talk back. Am I excited about this pick? 2-4. One of my favorite players in this class. Another player that I kind of think is being slept on. I don't really see his name talked much about the Dynasty community, but listen, if there's a crease, he's the grease. And it's Dylan Sampson, baby. I love everything I saw on tape about Dylan Sampson. Viable in the passing game, very fast, very quick feet. And even though he's a smaller running back, damn, is he good between the tackles. I like his game between the tackles, consistently getting 3 to 4 yards between there. I think he's one of the most underrated running backs in this draft class. I think in most years, he'd be ranked significantly higher if we didn't have so many good running backs. Kind of how, like, now listen, he's not the same player. I don't think he's as high, but like I had that same feeling about Devon Achane when he came out. And Devon Achane ended up being my 3rd overall ranked player when it was all said and done. I was like, listen, this is a guy that the sky's the limit. I don't think sky's the limit for Dylan Sampson, but I think we have ourselves in the right system, in the right situation. I think he goes day 2. I think Dylan Sampson goes day 2 in the 3rd round.
I agree.
I think he ends in a situation that is going to be extremely profitable for Dynasty Fantasy Football. I think we have an asset in our hands, and I think 2-4 is going to be screaming value. Dylan Sampson, give him to me. 2-5, Matthew?
2-5. I'm up again, and again I'm swinging and missing because Dylan Sampson was guy had my at the running back position, and I went Jaylen Noel because he just offered too much kind of explosiveness and upside here at the wide receiver position. I think this guy's very clean. He's a technician as well, and he's so fast, man. He's quick and fast. And Jaylen Noel, the wide receiver out of Iowa State, good size, 5'10.25", 194 pounds. So there's no like size limitations to kind of get this guy out at the Z and let him run deep. He can do some stuff over the middle as well and kind of hit you on all levels of the field. And Jaylen Noel, I think, is going to be talked about in the second round. Is that what you guys have heard about him as well? Mm-hmm. He's a pretty solid second round draft pick, right?
I think
the wide receiver position. And for me, yeah, no, 1, 2, 3. I think he's my fifth, but that's because I have Bech ahead of him, who I picked last. So I literally went one place down from Bech and took Noel here, even though I got him 3 picks later. So I'm pretty happy about that.
No, it's a great pick. He was actually the guy I wanted to take, but when you took him, I've talked about it many times. When I get to like the mid-ish second round, the floor goes out the window for me. I flip the script. I go from being team draft ultra safe to what is the ceiling. And I think you could argue that this is too late for this guy, and I totally understand that. But in our draft, Luther Burden is still here at 2-6. And I'm terrified of his floor. I am terrified of his floor. I cannot see a scenario where I draft him in the first round. However, if he's available in the second round, I'm all over it because I see the ceiling. I see the movement skills. I see what could be. We're talking prime Deebo Samuel type of player. However, I also see a lot of Jalen Reagor in his game, and it terrifies the crap out of me. So I can't draft him in the first, but here in the second, especially all the way down at pick 2-6, it just feels like such a good value and such a good time to step up to the plate and take a home run swing. So that's what I did here at 2-6 with Luther Burden.
Yeah, 2-7 on clock. I'm going with a player that I don't even really have. There's probably a couple other players I would take here ahead of him, but even and realistically, I think come this time next week, this player won't even be available at 2-7. He's going to go higher. Correct. Everything I need is he's going to be a top 20 pick, and that's Matthew Golden, wide receiver out of Texas. Every major analyst says, I mean, there's news report that the Broncos want to trade up for this player. So tons of report. He's going to go in the first round. And listen, Texas is a weird offense. So there's a lot of upside here for Matthew Golden with that speed. I don't like the way they can be pressed at the line and kind of be thrown off his routes, even like sometimes in coverage. But a solid receiver overall. Like I didn't hate his tape. It's just that Texas offense is funky. And once he secures that first round pedigree and probably middle of the round draft pedigree too, Matthew Golden's not going to be here. He's going to go ahead of Jalen Royals. He's going to go ahead of Jack Bech. He's going to go ahead of Jaylen Noel. But again, we're not doing it. This is pre-NFL draft based on the tape players that we liked. So this is why this exercise is somewhat important, right? Like where these players ranked ahead of time. More so for us. So 3 years down the road, we can say, haha, we were right. And if we're wrong, we just kind of just never talk about this ever again.
You ignore it.
That was just pre-draft. No big deal.
Yeah, it's just pre-draft, guys. It's just tape score. We let the tape out. Texas's offense. I mean, Isaiah Bond was just a decoy for Christ's sakes. So, yeah. But I like the player. Comfortable here. I think it's gonna be really good value. Realistically, though, he won't be here at 2-7 1 week from today. But happy to take him here now. Based on upside, extremely fast, good, reliable hands. Can take the top off a defense. Can work all three phases, all three different levels of the field as well. So I'm gonna go Matthew Golden.
Matt, you finally got a running back.
Well played, sir. At 2-8, I picked quarterback Jalen Milroe. And yes, this is the point when I feel comfortable getting a guy like this. I mean, absolutely. Come next week, he could also be a guy that's going a little bit higher. And, he is one of these players that got invited to the draft. Who knows if he ends up going first round or not at back into the first round, but he's going to go somewhere in that second round. Somebody's taking a shot at him. Somebody is going to work with him to become a better passer. And that's obviously his major fault is inconsistencies as a passer. He's a fantastic athlete. And might be the only guy. Was it Andrew Berry that said he might be the only quarterback in the NFL that's faster than Lamar Jackson once he enters the NFL?
Yep.
It was some GM, and he's not wrong. I mean, the dude is ridiculously fast and, legitimate 4.3 guy. I can't remember exactly what his numbers were at his pro day, but I believe it was in the 4.3s. So if somebody can harness this guy's passing skills and turn him into a bona fide quarterback, he has the highest upside of any of these quarterbacks in this draft
100%.
for fantasy, bar none. So to get him at 2.8, it's definitely worth it there, and I'm probably thinking about it even higher if I'm on a QB needy team.
So are you willing to take him here if he is a second round pick versus a first round pick? Like,
if he's a second round pick, I'm still okay with him here. I'm still okay with him maybe 3 picks higher. If he's a first round draft pick, you have to start talking. That's in the first round somewhere.
Say there's a shocker in the draft. Say, because again, he got invited to the combine. Say Jalen Milroe goes to Pittsburgh at 21. They shot and say the other quarterback slipped. Say he's the second quarterback off the board potentially, even.
Sure.
Milroe goes in the first, but say he's the third. Say Dart or Sanders go ahead of him slightly, but he goes to Pittsburgh right in that 21 range, or say he goes a little bit later. Say Pittsburgh trades back or somebody trades up for him, a la like a Lamar Jackson and trade up for pick 32. Because even me, somebody who's down on Milroe, I'm with you, Matt. Like the athleticism is there. If he gets first round draft pedigree, I'm probably, even though I love Cam Skattebo more than anything, if he gets first round draft pedigree, I'm probably then taking him in that 2-1 range compared to Cam Skattebo. And this is somebody who called him a mix of Kenny Pickett and Anthony Richardson. So I'm as
honestly, that was before he actually stretched his hand out. It went over 9 inches, right?
Honestly, for me, he probably goes right after the Quinshon Warren Loveland group. Like, he's probably next for me, honestly. If he's a first round quarterback, I have a hard time not taking him in the first round of my rookie draft, especially with that upside.
Yeah, starting right away. Definitely. It went like Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh doesn't have a second round pick and don't have any strong running game. Oh, that'd be.
He has he has the quickest path to fantasy success out of any of these quarterbacks as long as he can learn how to throw the ball.
Yeah, think Anthony.
Which sounds like a kind of a big thing. But the way the NFL has been trending lately, they're doing a better and better job of getting guys like this kind of into the NFL and turning them into passers here.
Even Justin Fields, he still has value today, and we're still not sure if he can pass at the NFL level. But he still has value. Teams are still want to take a chance on him because of the ridiculous athleticism. And so you think of what you could have gotten for Justin Fields, even if you want to get off that train after year one. What could you have gotten for Justin Fields after year one? He was a borderline first round startup pick. I
know, because I traded Justin Herbert away for Justin Fields in like a little bit.
There you go.
Because I had so many Justin Herbert shares. It's like, I'll gamble on this. So, but you're right. He's back today with the Jets. He holds value, and he's a good comparison because he's not a good passer, but even in that mold, he's quarterback like 7 overall when he plays. So you're right. Extreme value there. If he gets first round pedigree, he'll be the one that probably moves the most
100%
in this mock draft.
Agreed. Yep.
You're up at 2.9.
Yeah. So we get to this point, and I didn't love this guy's tape, but I didn't hate it either. Like, I think he's going to be a very good NFL running back. And I think a team's going to draft him in the 3rd round, and he's a guy that could get volume. And I think that's the thing that really is appealing about this player. He could be a volume running back, which volume is king. How many times are you touching the football? And Kaleb Johnson's a guy that could touch the football quite a bit. A team could lean on him. I don't think he has elite stealing like a lot of these other running backs that we've talked about, but I think he's somebody that could he be what Najee Harris has been over the past 5 years? Yeah, I could absolutely see him being that kind of guy. He might even go to that team and be the Najee Harris replacement. So I don't love the crazy ceiling, but I think there's enough ceiling there. There's enough upside as a very consistent RB2 type of player that I really like getting Kaleb Johnson here. I don't know if he'll be there. We'll see what draft capital he gets. There's a lot of different feelings on Kaleb Johnson. I'm curious to see what the NFL has to say, but I didn't love this pick, but it just felt like he needs to go by now because he's just got too much volume upside.
Yeah, I've been hearing some reports, reliable sources, that the Browns have been digging pretty hard into Kaleb Johnson in our fans, which I don't really love it as well, but like interesting nonetheless. I'm on a clock here at 210, and I think this was the last pick that I made that I was like really excited about. And I took Mason Taylor, tight end. My prediction, he's going to be a top 40 NFL draft pick. Wouldn't even surprise me if he somehow squeezed into the back end of the first there, but he's probably going to be a top 40 NFL draft pick. Super young, ton of upside. This throws a little bit of weight on there. Some really good hands at tight end. Again, this is tight end premium. Here I am, playoff team and a nice tight end to my stable of players here. And I think, with this is what's going to happen. This is going to be interesting with this draft is there's so many running backs. It's going to push receivers and tight ends down in your draft. So there is going to be value as people start to reach for running backs as so many of these guys go. And I think Mason Taylor might be one of those players. I think NFL Draft Capital might flip the switch on that. I think after the NFL draft, he might find him in a situation where he's easily going ahead of Skattebo, Royals, Sampson, Noel, like after he gets home to the NFL draft, we'll see where he ends up. Like say he goes round 2 to the Jets, for example, like real high in the second round out there. That'd be a really good spot where he instantly slides in as like the number 2 receiver possibly as well in that offense. So I took Mason Taylor. Matt, you're in the clock with 211. You went somewhere. I was very close. If Taylor was on the board, this is the direction I would have went.
Nice. And I finally get my first actual running back here at 211, and I go Jordan James.
That's almost a third round. And he's got 4 picks in each round.
Listen, I finally got him. That's all that matters, and I like him. You know what I mean? He's not going to blow you away. Jordan James isn't going to blow you away with like high-end athleticism or anything like that, but he's got great change of direction. He catches passes really well. And he's just like another one of these Oregon running backs that kind of they're 200-ish, 205 pounds, but they can still operate between the tackles and catch passes. So just very valuable pieces, I think, in the NFL. I don't think he's going to go super high, 3rd, 4th round draft pick type of guy, but he is good enough to, I think, carve out a role and kind of be a guy that kind of emerges in an offense. Maybe not year one, but he could emerge as a part of a committee in year one. And then, by the way, Jordan James, just the better piece of this committee and kind of win a job. I'll allow a Bucky Irvin from last year. I don't think he's quite as good as Bucky, but I think he could. That's kind of his path to finding relevance. It is very similar to Bucky Irvin.
All right. Last pick of round 2. And it's funny. I looked at, I talk about my strategy, and when I look at every pick that I make from here on out, they are truly the most boom bust type players with ceiling that is very high and floor that is very, very low. So I've definitely stuck true to my word here. Here at pick 212, I took Jayden Higgins. My nerd score on him was solid, but not anything spectacular. But, in one side, I talked about, he reminds me of, and now I can't even think of it, the Giants receiver that was just okay for flashes, but he's just a true contested catch merchant that doesn't do anything.
Isaiah Hodgins, thank you. Like, that's his floor, and that could very well be who he is. But his ceiling could be a T. Higgins type of player, where he is an amazing contested catch artist with the right quarterback and makes some big-time plays. He was one of these guys that kind of out of nowhere, I was listening to, I forget who it was, but they were saying there's rumblings that if there was a sneaky receiver to get into the first round, it would be Jayden Higgins, and which kind of blew me away. I didn't see that on tape, like a first round receiver, but stylistically, if that's the kind of guy you're going for, and TEP McMillan is gone, I could see it. Like, I could see why you would go with that route, because he really is a very, very good contested catch guy. So ceiling player. But these types of contested catch merchants don't always pan out in today's NFL. So we'll have to see how it plays here. But at 212, I take Jayden Higgins.
Before I get to 3-1, let me recap round 2 for you so you can see all that value you have. Well, we talked about a team on the roster rescue on Monday, and they had 6 second round picks with no first. And he's like, man, I don't know what to do. Should I pack all these up for the first? So I was like, no, man, I'll just hold on to all those seconds. More shots.
Gobble them up, man. Yep.
So let's see half of the players he got at 2-1. We'll start there. Cam Skattebo, Jack Bech, Jalen Royals, Dylan Sampson, Jaylen Noel, Luther Burden, Matthew Golden, Jalen Milroe, Kaleb Johnson, and then Mason Taylor, Jordan James, and Jayden Higgins. I'm on the clock at 3-1, and this is where it starts to get real excitingly optimistic, I guess. Like, this is where,
there's still good players. There's still good players there for sure, but they're more upside players, right?
Yeah, it's going to get uglier, but I like every player that goes in this third round here. Every single player I want on my roster. So today, but a lot of these guys are probably going to end up as backups. So we'll see. But the first guy off my board is LeQuint Allen. I mean, I said before, this guy reminds me of a leaner Le'Veon Bell. I love his pass catching ability. In the third round is where I really start to chase those PPR running backs, because they're the guys that are going to get in a lot quicker, get in on third downs, and that holds value right away. These are the kind of players that can slip in year one and be running back 19, 20 overall as a rookie, strictly living that PPR Allen production. LeQuint Allen is one of the best pass catcher running backs in this class. Had a really good short goal line ability as well. Scored a decent amount of touchdowns out there. So LeQuint Allen out of Syracuse, I think it offers a lot of upside in PPR leagues. He was my choice at 3-1. I was happy to get him. Matt, 3-2. Did anybody get you excited? Anyone turn you from a frown upside down? Make you feeling blue a little bit?
Did you say pass catching running back? I'm going to go with Jayden Blue here. He had 42 receptions himself last year, and he's just a speed merchant there from the Texas Longhorns. And he's got tons of speed, man. 4.38, bona fide speedster here. And to me, this was a guy that reminded me a little bit of James Cook. I know you guys probably didn't necessarily agree with me on that one, but I just think he's a guy that he can offer some big plays out of the backfield and chunk yardage. And he's an excellent pass catcher, despite the fact that he has 8.25-inch hands, which is one of those things. He's one of those weird anomalies I'm worried about, but he's never shown anything on tape that made me really worry about it. It's just kind of like something that's in the back of my head as a bias that I have back there. But Jayden Blue, I think is an exciting player, and I'm really happy to get him in the third round.
Nice. All right. I stuck with the upside, and I'm going Elijah Arroyo here. I think there's a decent chance that he's a round 2 guy in the NFL draft. If not, I cannot see him falling out of day 2. So we've got a day 2 tight end here with just a crazy ceiling. We know the production wasn't as good as we wanted it to be, but the athletic ability, the ability to be able to stretch the field, go up and get the football, he's got the length, and he's definitely a true pass catching tight end. The biggest red flag for him was injuries. He was just banged up all the time.
Yep.
So that's tougher to swallow if you're drafting at, him at 2-2 or something like that. But if you're taking him here at 3-3, who cares? You can light this pick on fire. It doesn't matter. But if he has the ceiling to potentially become a top 5 type tight end, then he's worth taking. And I think that's what you get here with Elijah Arroyo.
And to add on to that, what did you say, Rich?
I said third round's all upside, baby.
Oh, yeah. And to add on to what you were saying about his draft capital, if he does slip in the draft, I think it is injury related. Same reason why he's in the third round of our draft. If he goes later in the draft, it's because it's an injury risk, or there's something kind of as a red flag. So Elijah Arroyo, I can never say this guy's name, but he's an excellent player, and I'm just going to stop trying at this point. So he's an excellent player.
Yeah, and at 3-4, I'm very happy here too. I'm taking a record setter, an all-time record setter. I'm taking a player who led college football not only in receptions but yards, and he wasn't a receiver. He was a tight end, and that's Harold Fannin out of Bowling Green. I mean, yes, is he tight-hipped? Is he a little receiver? Yeah, but he's unbelievably productive. He showed it. He didn't show it just because he was at Bowling Green. He did it versus high-end defense as well, like Iowa, Texas A&M, and Penn State. He's a productive tight end. I can't wait to see where he ends up in the right offense. I project him to be a third-round pick, but I would get really excited if somebody finds his way into the second round. Tight end premium again, if I'm not taking in this third round, I pretty much just want to take running backs and tight ends, like the upside, the guys that are going to get pushed down because of other running backs. This is where I want to gamble on the pass catching, super fast running backs or the tight ends. I think Arroyo fits that mold. I think Harold Fannin fits that mold. And I think, with all the numbers he did with the right draft capital, he might not be here at this point either. So very happy to get him. Love the upside. Matt, 3-5.
3-5. I ended up going Tyler Shough here. And, I did it. I did it kind of just to mention the fact that he was getting some first round background kind of conversations, but I already mentioned that, so we can kind of move on.
Shucks.
Oh, shucks.
All right. I took the speed merchant, Bhayshul Tuten. We'll see how much that 40 time plays in GM's heads because we know the NFL values speed, and he's got the speed there. He's an athletic freak. He crushed the combine, and he is, a home run threat waiting to happen in the right offense, but he's a one cut guy and go. He's not going to do a lot of make you miss stuff in the open field. So outside zone scheme would be perfect for him. He would fit in really well there. So I'm going to take the home run threat and hope I hit a home run with this pick.
All right. At 3-7, I'm going to go with the first player we actually did not discuss yet on all our rookie breakdowns. Maybe after the NFL draft, he'll probably slip a little bit farther, but there's two players we're going to discuss, and I really like their tape a lot. And he's one of them. I could have gone either way with a couple of these guys, but I went with JaCorey Croskey-Merritt. This is a guy who eligibility issues sidelined him, Croskey-Merritt, for all but one game in 2024, but his skills were on full display at the East-West Shrine Bowl in January. He absolutely dominated there. He's a quick processor with adequate size, and he has a really impressive cut. He has this quick cut quickness to find those yards in those crowded workspaces. Does a really good, nice job there. He's a one cut runner that's ability to just break runs real sharply and gain some big gains there. He finishes really strong there as well. Now, there's a lot of negatives. He was ineligible last year. He's going to be a 24-year-old rookie. He's not viable on third down, so that's kind of a negativity there, though. But there's a lot of talent in this kid, and he's got some creativity, some pop, some quickness to his game that I saw enough there to kind of get me excited. In the right situation, he could be someone that kind of steps up and gives you that hashtag 2 to 3 year window. And like I said, in the third round, I'm willing to gamble. I think after the NFL draft, there might be some other players I'm willing to gamble on here. But right now, just on tape in a vacuum, when I'm looking at some of these pass catching running backs like Monangai, Damian Martinez, Croskey-Merritt, JaCorey Croskey-Merritt to me shows a decent amount of upside. So I went JaCorey Croskey-Merritt.
And I was up next, and I ended up going Ollie Gordon. Kind of an underrated guy this season, but last year he had over 1,700 yards rushing, and to go along with 40 receptions for another 330 yards. That was in 2023. So he has some high end, I think, potential. I don't know exactly what happened last year at Oklahoma State, but he wasn't quite as productive. Only 880 yards, but 29 receptions, and he's a bigger back as well. So he is to get a guy that offers the size of a 3-down back and the catching ability and the rushing ability. He's 6'1", 226 pounds. This late in the draft feels really good to me, especially when Johnson went a little bit earlier and probably doesn't have quite the pass catching upside that an Ollie Gordon does. Kaleb Johnson, that is. So it feels pretty good. I don't know. I like the player. I think there's some potential there. Who knows what's going to end up happening? Was 2024 the real him or 2023? If 2023 is the real him, then this is a steal, to say the least.
Absolutely. All right. I went with Tre Harris here. He was somebody whose tape was a little bit of an enigma to me. There were things in there where you're like, wow, that's really good. That could be that translates to the next level. And then there are other things you're like, man, you could fit into a mold of just traditional Z receiver that has a few big plays a year, but congratulations on your 450 yards and 6 touchdowns a season. Like, like he could fall into either one of those categories, but I'm curious to see where he gets drafted. He's another one that I'm having a hard time really pegging how our team's going to value him. Where will he go? Like, if he went in the 40s of the NFL draft, I'd be like a little higher than I'd like it, but I could see it. If he somehow slipped to day 3, I'd be like, I would take him a little higher maybe, but I could see it. So it just seems like a very wide range of outcomes for him. So we'll kind of have to wait and see what happens with Tre Harris, but I like his potential at the end of the 3rd round.
All right, my last pick in the 3rd round at 310, I went with Ramondre Stevenson Stan. I went Devin Neal. A player, when you watch his tape, like, you just like his tape. Like, he doesn't do anything exceptional, but does everything well. So a very solid running back that could easily end up just like Ramondre Stevenson, who finds himself into a situation, ends up winning the starting job. Not an elite tight end running back 1, but a solid running back 2 in fantasy that could just so happen possibly get an extension. And after you get that extension, hold no value going forward. So for me, Devin Neal here is a nice value pick. Interesting where he goes. I felt like this was a nice safety pick. I know we said we chase upside, but I think even though everything I said seems like it's just slightly above average, there's upside there, because that means he does everything well, which increases his odds of getting on the field. Devin Neal, Kansas.
So I ended up going another running back here. I finally broke the seal, so now I'm going to keep going here. I went Kyle Monangai, and much like what's his name for the Kansas City Chiefs, also from Rutgers. He's a
Pacheco.
Not Pacheco. Thank you, Isaiah Pacheco. He's got some good physicality to him. He can operate between the tackles. He's not going to catch a ton of passes. But at this point in the draft, towards the end of the 3rd round, you're looking for anybody that might get a job week in and week out. And I feel like he's a guy that's at least talented enough to, if there's an injury, he can come in, fill that void, and be a guy that carries your team for 4 or 5 weeks or something like that while your starter is getting healthy.
Absolutely. And the last pick of the 3rd round, we have DJ Giddens, another guy. When you see the size and the speed together, it's a really, really nice combination. He did great at the combine, and man, he has some great lateral agility to just, absolutely shake guys. At times he almost like over exaggerates it to a point where I'm like, he didn't need that much, but it was sweet anyway. So I think he has an opportunity to make some big plays at the next level. He's real, he might be the poster child of boom bust. Right there with Luther Burden and Tre Harris, guys like that. But the boom is just really, really intriguing. And I think if the right running back coach gets him, there's enough raw skill and ability here that he could be a really nice running back.
All right. That's the 3rd round. We did the 2nd and 3rd round. I'm going to now go through the 3rd round because I already went through the 2nd. But when I get to pick 312, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to go through the 4th round, because we actually, when we were doing this, we were just having such a good old time. We were like, hey, let's just keep going and see who we're taking the 4th round. So I'm going to read picks 3 through 12, but then I'm going to go the entire 4th round of where we would have picked them. So at 3-1, we started with LeQuint Allen. Then I went Jayden Blue, Elijah Arroyo, Harold Fannin, Tyler Shough, Bhayshul Tuten, JaCorey Croskey-Merritt, Ollie Gordon, Tre Harris, Devin Neal, Kyle Monangai, DJ Giddens. Then the 4th round at 4-1, it went Damian Martinez, Kyle Williams, Xavier Restrepo, Trevor Etienne, Will Howard, Lan Larison, a running back out of UC Davis who we did not cover, but a very, very good pass catcher running back. What can you do between the tackles? We're not overly confident on that, but a very good pass catcher running back. At 4-7, and again, that name was Lan Larison out of UC Davis. Very nice tape. It's in the Dynasty Nerds film room. Then at 4-7, it went RJ Harvey, Ontario Brown, Quinn Ewers, Montrell Johnson, Thomas Fidone, and then Isaiah Bond. That is a list of picks 1-1 to 4-12. If you go back to these episodes, how will that list look 5 days from now? We do not know, but we will know soon enough. This was a nice little teaser, a little prep to get you all excited for the NFL draft and your rookie drafts. Hopefully all your rookie drafts start very soon. Mine mostly all start, albeit everybody's paid up, the Monday after the NFL draft at 6 a.m. So I'm super stoked. I have a boatload of drafts starting. I got a lot of picks. I'm super excited. I hope everybody this week has a fantastic time enjoying the draft. As much as you won't have more fun than we're having, but I hope you have as equal amount of fun as that we're having with the Dynasty Nerds crew during our annual retreat for the NFL draft up in the hills of New York. But this is a fun time because not only is this just a fun time for us Dynasty players, because it gives us a chance to watch all these rookies, where they end up in potential draft capital, but it's just a fun time to be an NFL fan, right? You know, where does Dynasty start? It usually starts as being an NFL fan. You have a favorite team, or if you don't have a favorite team, you just love the NFL. So this is a chance of, just like the rookie drafts offer new hope for your Dynasty teams, this will offer new hope for your NFL teams. Tennessee fans will have the hope that Cam Ward can turn into that quarterback to take them to the next level. I can hope and pray that the Browns take Travis Hunter and he turns in some unique unicorn that can play both ways. And he's the magic. We literally needed a magical, mythical creature to turn the Browns around, which in reality, we really do.
Pretty accurate.
Ashton Jeanty, you know, Mason Graham. If it's a left tackle protecting your rookie quarterback in Drake May, no matter where you pick, it could be later down the draft. This is an opportunity for your NFL team to be one step closer to what we all covet, to watch our team raise that Lombardi trophy. So this weekend is more fun for us because we play Dynasty, but we also get the NFL love out of it too. It's a reason this has been so popular across the newscast, because it's that much fun. It's that exciting. It's so much fun to see the trades and the move backs and the terrible picks that you hate and the reaches. And we're all so smart at the same time. Like, that's a reach. That's a bad pick. The truth is we don't know. And we won't know for most of these guys until October. And some of these we won't know until October or December of 2026 or 2027. But it's the unknown that makes it so much fun. Unpredictability of it all.
There you go.
That's it.
Yeah, it really is. It's what makes this so special is the excitement of what's to come. So I hope everybody out there enjoys this weekend as much as we do. I hope everybody has a good time. I hope all your teams get a little bit better. Not better than my team, the Cleveland Browns, because this is the first time in over 3 years I get to watch my team pick in the first round. And of course, once they get back into it, they do it the only way they know how, and it's the top 3 pick. So enjoy the weekend. I can't wait to see you two in person. Enjoy it with as well. It's draft weekend.
Adios.